One, two, three. We have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. And what is that plan that you ask? My plan is to retire some way, somehow, in about 6 years or so. Now you're telling me, how in the world are you gonna do that when you are 24, my young and very much likely stupid fella? I'll tell you. Well, the plan is that, and I've been working on this ever since before leaving Egypt, quite a while before that actually. I've started to learn investing like about 2 years ago or so. The idea of it that at the time I obviously didn't have any resources, didn't have any infrastructure, didn't really have a chance to do much of anything at all when it came to that because I was in country. I'm gonna beep that. But again, as I was saying, but because I was in a place like that, I didn't really have any of the tools, brokers, exchanges, international markets that any other person in any other place would have. So it was kind of hard to really establish any kind of solid plan for the future, let alone something that I could retire on. But that change came here because there is the idea of trying to create a dividend portfolio. It is something where, depending of course on your choices and how you're setting everything up, you could be getting, say, somewhere from 2 to 6%, let's say, of a dividend yield on your income. Now, obviously, I can't do any of the very famous, well-known dividend funds like maybe SCHD or DGRO because I have to do everything manually because of like filtering stuff and personal reasons and stuff like that. But keeping that in mind, I do not need a lot of money to just live and be comfortable and have things go fine. In another video, I mentioned how the expenses here are maybe around 6 to 800 a month or something like that. Of course, if you're a single dude and you're just living maybe by yourself or with a roommate or something like that, it would be very different if you had a partner or children like that. But hey, we're just keeping it here and talking about my situation so far. And let's see what changes at 30. But the idea is that even if we put aside the business earnings, the any kind of entrepreneurial revenue that I might make and all of that, with it invested on a very reasonable testing scenario in 6 years, I'd be making about a solid 800 or 700 euros a month, which again would be enough to just live. And from that time, you have complete and utter control over your time, over your financial freedom, over your choices, where you want to go, what you want to do. Obviously, that amount would never be enough in somewhere like the US, but in here it does work, which is something very nice and something very much to consider. And so what is the plan in those 6 years? What am I gonna do with my life in the next 6 years? That's a very good question. The plan is to, well, be working a job and putting aside as much money as I can into those investments, while at the same time running a business, trying to make that grow and thrive as much as I can, and any income that would be earned from that would be split somewhat evenly between putting aside for investments and all of that, and also for, explorations and experiences and things like that. Or so that is the plan at least. Is that the most riveting, exciting topic to be discussing right now? No, but it's the one that I have somewhat some time for. I'm approaching on a lot of exams, and I'm gonna be hopefully, and with a slight bit of dread, just a little bit, be visiting Egypt again next month. So that is gonna be very much something. God help us. But that is all that I have for you today. If you have similar plans or goals or things that you are curious about doing when it comes to that, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Maybe I'm missing something, or maybe you have something to contribute. And so with that,